can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tim, I just want to say that you were right. That's why I got my coffee cup with me. Because we don't like to part with our bad habits. So I brought it up here with me, buddy. Just for you. All right? All right. So my name is Chris Schaefer. For some reason, I can't get this hooked to my belt. There we go. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I had 4 different speeches ready for this event. And if you wait till last minute, it only takes a minute, right? So I wrote a speech this morning. I ain't gonna lie. I rehearsed all the other ones, but after I got to see all the speakers here and exactly what Vetted and the Military Transition Network is doing, I wanted to make sure that I brought value for everybody that is attending. And I want to thank all the other speakers that are here, and especially Cassandra for putting this thing together and having Grunt Style here and Vetted and all the other organizations and the fabulous speakers that we all have. And especially the other people that are in this room that are trying to help out vets. So, I spent 25 years in the Army. Tim, right here, buddy. And I was an NCO, I was enlisted for 18, then I became a warrant officer. The only reason why I became a warrant officer is because they were going to make me a first sergeant, and I didn't want to push Joe's. And you got more, you're tough. I didn't want any part of that. All right, so let me kind of understand my audience real quick. Army, raise your hand. Okay. Navy. All right, where's my devil dogs? I love my devil dogs.
I'm here.
Air Force, how many Air Force guys? All right. Awesome. So in Colorado Springs, we were heavy in the Air Force realm. And thank God they're on our team because they bailed my butt out of situations quite often. So, and they are on the Army team. Just everybody of you know that everybody's on the Army team, okay? Yeah. Especially the Marines. We love you guys. You're great.
I feel it.
So when I got ready to retire, it was after 25 years. They're gonna send me downrange for a 10th time. And as we know, that's not uncommon for us during our Paris War. All right, 3 deployments is no big deal. 5, 6, 9. I know guys that got 13. We all know those guys. Our women have fought alongside with us, and they've seen just as much stuff as we have. So, when they said I was going back down range again to be with my team, my wife was like, dude, it's time for you to chop it up. So, how many went to TAP? Or are going to go to TAP? Or have proceeded? Okay. So, they're all different. All right, on Fort Bragg, they have 2 different classes. They have the class for the retiree guys that walk in with a coffee cup, and they have the class for the non-retirees. Okay? And I don't blame TAP. They are good people. They do good work. But look, the military does not train us to work in corporate America. We are servicemen. We're soldiers. We're airmen and Marines. That is what the DoD needs us to do, is to train to fight our nation's wars. They're not there to train you to become an executive at GE, right? Why would they do that? Because GE is not going to train you to go into the Army, right? Okay, so let's get that straight. If you don't take advantage of what TAP has, if you're getting ready to go, I suggest that you go again. I actually attended several TAPs. Just because you went to one doesn't mean you can't go to another one. So when you get out, if you want to go to the Air Force one because you think they're smarter than everybody else, by all means, go to the Air Force one. All right? They are kind of smart, so I don't know.
True story.
It is a true story. And like I said, I'm glad they're on my team. So take advantage of it. But here's the deal: you got to put in effort. And when I went to TAP, I was like, man, I'm selling my house, I'm moving, I gotta get my medical records, which took like months. I mean, I'm sitting on the x-ray table, and the tech goes, does your knee hurt? I was like, explain pain to me, because I'm in pain all the time, right? I mean, my back, I got collapsed disc, yada, yada, yada. She goes, your kneecap is broken. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of nice to know. I wonder how long it's been that way. Right? I didn't even know it. I didn't even know it. All that stuff is going on. I'm trying to transition, get my medical records straight, selling my house, selling my boat, which I love. And I'm moving to Colorado from North Carolina. I did not have time to tap. I just didn't. 25 years of records. You guys know your Drive 11 books, right? You know how big they are? They're huge, right? Especially if you've been retired. You got more than 20 years, they're ridiculous. And so I said, okay, let's get this thing over with. I need to just check the blocks. I need a resume. Roger that. Called up some dude, paid $300 to write my resume. Just getting stuff done. Selling my house, all this stuff. So I didn't take full advantage of exactly what had to offer. My fault. Okay? If you don't out there, it's your fault too. I'm just going to tell you. Right? Because they're trying to do a job, and you need to take advantage of it. When I sold my house, I bought a trailer, and I decided to clear this thing of being in the military. And there are authors out here that have wrote about separating from the military as being a traumatic event. Because you do lose something, right? I still miss the camaraderie that I had with my team. I absolutely do. Because it's hard to find outside in the civilian sector, it really is. Because we live in two different worlds, I'm going to tell you about that. So, me and my dumbass, I decided that I was going to go to Gettysburg for vacation, right? I'm supposed to be separating myself from a war, so I do the most smartest thing the Army guy would do is go to another battlefield, right? And I stand on a little round top, which is like smaller than this room, and I'm thinking, man, you know, this was awesome. Those guys didn't have any more bullets and fixed bayonets, you know, and they like charge down the hill, you know? And at the time I didn't realize it, but I wasn't ready to separate. I just wasn't. Because I love that culture. I love being in part of that. Hey, we're going to take the mission and secure this hill regardless. So not knowing what the heck I wanted to do in good military fashion, I decided that I better learn what the corporate world is like. Now, I already had a bachelor's. So I grew up in the time. Who grew up in the Army where the slogan was, be all you can be? All right, remember that? Great slogan. So I took full advantage of that. Absolutely took full advantage of that. And I wanted to do that same thing in the corporate world. So I thought that the best thing that I could do that would translate my skills to value in the corporate world would be a project manager. So I found a university out in Colorado that was approved by the Project Managers Institute for their curriculum for project management. But I'm a glutton for punishment, and if it doesn't suck, it's not good, right? It's not good training. Like if it's not raining hard enough, it's like this doesn't suck enough, and I need more to suck. Right? I'll go find me a swamp and bed down in it because, well, Air Force guys wouldn't do that. They'd be watching us from TV. Man, that sucks. But I'm not there. Ooh, that must really suck, right? Just call me when you need help, guys. Let's let my airplane drop some bombs. Right? So I did 2 masters in 24 months. Don't do that to yourself, please. I promise you will hate your life. I did. But I was trying to fill that void. That's what it really boiled down to. And I didn't realize it at the time. I mean, it was 40 hours of study a week. I was writing 8-page papers every night for almost 2 years straight. So, my first class was with Dr. Carter, Brent Carter, and he's the co-author of our book. And he asked me to help him write Intrepid Professionals. So, I want to impress upon you that you have immense value to corporate America. And this slide right here demonstrates that. Now, it's a little dated, but not much has changed since then. CEOs with experience in the military blows away the S&P 500 consistently. Anna just said that we blow away the statistics of 2 years for owning our own businesses. We do. Here's the other thing I want you to know, is that a Census Bureau that was taken, I think in 17 or whenever the last one, we have like 2 million veteran-owned businesses in the United States. You know what the impact is to our economy? $3 trillion. So Grunt Style and these other companies, they're doing well. You know why? Because we push hard. And I do have ADD, and that's why I got my little nose up here, because I like shiny things. So like somebody flashes a light over there, I'm probably going to be really distracted. So I want you to take this in, and I want you to, at a high level, at a 30,000 feet level, understand this. We succeed when we put our mind to it, plain and simple. But we have to have the right people around us, okay? I think that's why it's great that veterans are hiring veterans, because we understand each other. I was talking to an individual that he owned his own company, Fortune 500. He was an old hockey player with NHL, and I noticed it because of his ring. And I started talking to him about veterans, and he says, I hate them. I was like, what? What do you mean you hate them? He goes, look, I got these veterans in my company. They all like find each other. And then they get on the same project team, and they like are killing everybody. They're doing it all. You know, they just smash everybody. And I go, well, what's your problem, man? I mean, isn't that good? He goes, no. Because those vets won't take their talents and share it with the rest of my organization. He says, I have a hard time busting them up. He goes, I'll bust them up, and guess what? They're just like ants going back to their hole. They'll just go back in there, you know what I'm saying? And he says, I find them and they're all together, you know, and it's like they're working late and they're doing their stuff, and they're putting these plans together. Holy crap, these are a bunch of vets. Right? So they know us. They don't know what to do with us necessarily. And that's the reason why we wrote Intrepid Professionals. So, one of the hardest things for us to do is to translate our skills. So I'm going to show a quick video. This is just my experience, okay? I know everybody's experience is a little bit different. This is mine. That's the Caribbean, by the way. I know, short shorts, got it. So that second to last picture there was my family for all intents and purposes for almost 13 years of my life. Oh. We're all there, right? Our military family, the guys and gals that we serve next to every day of our life is, for all intents and purposes, our family. And that's why it's so hard to separate from the military, because we lose a part of our family. We really do. And it's even more stressful when we lose guys in combat, right? So, how do you translate that? Here's the analogy. Going to the moon, coming back, and trying to explain it to somebody that's never been there. Right? And it's not their fault, they just don't know. My wife's had 3 children. She can talk to me about that all day. I'm just not gonna get there, right? And I don't want to go there. Anyways, that's a whole different story. So remember that when you're talking to a civilian that doesn't have much experience with the military, you are trying to explain to them going to the moon, how much, what the atmosphere is like, what it is like getting there, the sand, the ground, what the noises are, what the smells are, right? JP4, when you're on the flight line, okay? All that type of stuff, when you're at the firing range, they just can't get there and it's not their fault. So you need to help them understand who you are in their language, right? Because we are 2 separate cultures, 2 separate entities. We did our job and we did it well. They don't know what we are capable of. They just don't. So in the process of writing Trucker Professionals, when Dr. Carter asked me, we were at a coffee shop, he said, "You want to write a book?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what book are you right? You talk about writing a book." I'm blow those Navy SEALs all day wrong, right? So I didn't know what I was getting myself into. It took 3 years to write it. And when we wrote it, we approached it as a business plan. We got to add value. Why are we writing it? Who is it that we're going to talk to? And what is the content that we're going to be added in there to help who we're speaking to? Okay? So, what we found is there's sticky parallels, and I want you to remember this, sticky parallels. What you do in the military has great application to the civilian world. You just have to look. You have to look at what you did, not on the surface. I was a tank driver, okay, that's what you did in the Army. Okay? The things that you did to make that happen is what's important to corporate America. Understanding logistics, understanding time management, understanding training for people. Okay? You had all the time, you had to deal with culture. Mechanized units are the same as light infantry units. They got 2 totally different cultures. Air Force, different culture. I don't even know what the Coast Guard is. Any Coasties here? Nah, right? See? I don't even know what their culture is. But my thing is this. There are sticky parallels. We have to understand at a deeper level what it was exactly that we were doing while we were doing those jobs to be able to bring value to corporate America. Okay? So I'm going to show you this slide here. Oh, I think that's the last one. So our culture, right? I mean, down here we got the Santa Claus with the car, you know. That's our funny humor that they don't understand. I mean, I can bust on the Marines and the Air Force guys in here and we all get it. Like my buddy, well, Dr. Carter was using his weed whacker. We were supposed to do the speaking event and he texted me and he said, "Hey, I hurt my foot." I was like, this ought to be good. I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, I was weed whacking with my flip-flops on and my weed whacker got my toe and I'm kind of hurt." And all I said back was, "Ah!" And I just started laughing, right? I kind of hurt his feelings a little bit, you know? And I asked him, I said, "Where's the blood spot in the yard? I want to go and see it, take a photo," right? So funny, right? He's like, he goes to his wife, he goes, "Well, Chris will understand." He goes, "Yeah," I had to tell my wife, "No, he's just going to give me shit." I did. That's exactly what I did. Okay? Because it was fun. I'm not lying, right? But listen, your civilian counterparts, they're not going to get that. They're just not. They're going to feel really hurt for the most part. Okay? Until you get to know them. So, you know, it's kind of funny that we have a guy in a Santa Claus suit during Christmas. You know the dude's deployed. He's just having fun. He probably pulled it out of his bag and put it on his head, right? That's funny to us. I'm like, okay, I'm on a mission, but it's Christmas. But they won't get that. They just won't. Okay, so know that. The reason why I tell you that story is this, because the cultures are different. And as soon as you realize that, as soon as you try to understand their culture, as soon as you try to adapt yourself, when in Rome, do as the Romans, don't become a Roman. Didn't say that, did it? All it said was, when you are in Rome, do as the Romans. It didn't say, when in Rome, become a Roman. We have our own values that we can adapt to their culture, to bring value to them that they don't even understand that they can receive, unless they've been in the military before. Okay? All right. So let's talk a little bit about hiring. How many of you guys and gals got a resume? Okay? And we all know that you got to tailor that resume to the specific job that's on the job board, right? So I was reading a blog once, and this HR professional, he says in the write-up, do not cut and paste from the job description and put it in your resume. And I was like, what word are you from, dude? Because here's the deal, we all know what algorithms you're using when we put our resume together to put in your dumb system. It just looks for keywords, and whoever's got the most is going to come up out of the top, right? We're not dumb. Right? Right? And so I wrote a blog about it. I was like, what are you? Your practice is absolutely flawed. You are not going to get the right people because of the way you are approaching your hiring practice. So I wanted to learn a little more about how this whole thing works. Every one of the speakers that came up here and told you, especially from the USA Today, if you do not network, you're done. Throw your resume away and go climb into a bottle, because that's about how much success you're going to have. Okay? You need to network, and here's why. Almost 80%, and I'll explain to you the reason why they do this. Almost 80% of organizations hire from within or from a referral. Then they go to a university because this curriculum equals this job. And they know they can hire the poor millennials for like, what, $5? You guys make more than $5 an hour. You work for free? You know, what's the deal? I don't know. That's why we can't compete. For pizza. See, that's great for us old guys because we know the deal is like, intern, right? Give me some Axe spray. And a new app on his phone. You know, that'll be great, you know? So, but we can't compete with that, right? We have a standard of living that we've got to be able to continue with, so we can't compete with a pizza-eating millennial. We just can't, okay? I mean, right? Why do companies do this? Why do they do this? You know why they do it? It's because return on investment. They all know that us veterans, statistically, and I got this from the Million Mans Project and a bunch of other things. The Million Man Project, or the Million Records Project, was when DoD wanted to cut our GI Bill. So they did this big study, an independent study, and it's called the Million Records Project because they take like 800,000 records from our GI Bill for us to go and use it after we get out of the military. Okay? Interesting thing. We get jobs relatively quickly after we get out of the military. I did. Well, I had to because I was going crazy at 40 hours a week studying and writing professions, and I needed something else to do, so I went to sell boots, basically what I did, right? To kind of get me out of my house and out of my head. But we relatively quickly get jobs, but we only stay in them for a very short period of time, it's 24 months. Now, I know that, the HR guys know that. So if you got veteran on there, they're going to take into consideration, it might be 24 months. Here's what's interesting. In that exact time of period, our jobs, we start getting out, we start taking more college credit right after the 24-month period. And it's like, wow, why is that? Right? When you do research, sometimes you get more questions than you do answers. Right? So neither here nor there, what they need to understand is organizations have an opportunity to leverage that. And you, but they won't know it unless you tell them that. Right? at the very onset. Say, yes, I want this job, and by the way, I want to learn this, and I'm going to go to school for that. When are you going to start? In about 24 months. Because it's true, right? Statistically. Okay? You see what I'm saying? There's our things that we have that we can offer organizations if we just look deep enough into. We're going to get into these sticky parallels here really soon. I've trained to time not to, or I've trained to standard not to time, so I hate that clock, but I'll try to make sure in 9 minutes I'm done. All right? So, why do they do this? The reason they do this is this. When an organization hires you, they have to onboard you. That costs money. If you leave within 24 months and it costs them $10,000 to onboard you and OJT you and get you into the system and get you into all their stuff, they lost money. All right? We did an interview with Keysight Technologies, the engineer, the CEO of the engineering department. Here's what he said when we asked him that question. I said, how much money does it cost your organization to have a guy come in there and leave in 6 months? This was like 4 years ago. He said $30,000. If I hire an engineer today and he quits in 6 months, my company loses $30,000. Now you know. You better bring that value on day one, because that costs that company money to get you there. And it doesn't matter how, they get job boards, they got to pay a person for HR, yada, 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 okay? Okay. So remember that. They didn't teach me at TAP. I had to learn that myself. That's not bad. They just had a different focus. Dress right, write your resume, do the interview, okay? It's all good stuff. But why should I even be upset that my resume didn't get picked or that they're not hiring? I didn't bring enough value. Now, how many HR people I got here? Got a couple. I know you won't raise your hand back there. I knew it. So I'm gonna bust on you a little bit. So when I was getting my master's, there was a few classes that I had to take, and my bachelor's is in human resource management, actually. And while I was getting my bachelor's, I was like, this is great. This is what I want to do. I want to help people become better, because that's kind of what we do in the military, right? We help train our soldiers to be better people. And that's part of HR. So when you're talking to people out there, you have that skill. It's not just management skill. Explaining, yes, I train people to take on more significant responsibilities throughout my career. That's huge, because you just say, yeah, I was a manager, I was an NCO. They're not going to know it, man. They don't understand that. They don't even know what NCO is. Okay? So you gotta look underneath what you are actually doing to provide that value. Those sticky parallels that we have are under there. You have it. Or we wouldn't be kicking butt on the S&P 500. We just wouldn't. It wouldn't happen, right? But HR, you have to understand what one of the primary things that HR does. And it's unfortunate, and they're starting to outsource a lot of HR outside of companies now. But a lot of organizations have HR departments that protect, their main purpose is to protect the company, not help employees. That is part of their job. Okay, so remember that. Right? Sun Tzu. Okay? Who all know Sun Tzu? All right. What's the quote? Know your enemy. Yeah.
You shall know victory.
That's right. Know your enemy, and you shall not be defeated in 1,000 battles. Okay? That's why you got to do a little research on the companies that you work with. Okay? If they're hiring vets like they do at USAA, they probably got vets on the board that understand other vets. They can probably help you a lot. All right? But just know that going into other organizations. Like if you're going to leave Texas and go to another state, I don't know why you would. That's free everything. I think they just give you free. Do they deliver beer to your house or something like that in this state? I mean, if you're a vet, they just like, here's your free beer, soldier, thank you, man. And you're like, thanks. This is my weekly, allotment. right? But I want you to understand that. That's why I'm giving you these little tidbits, all right? So, sticky parallels. When we were on professionals, what we found out was this. The very same things that our civilian counterparts struggle with all the time, veterans do it every day. We do. And those topics are leadership. Because listen, you can go to a university, they don't teach you much about leadership. You know where they want you to get your leadership from? When you're on a sports team. When you've done some intern. But if you led like the band or something, at least you can tell them that you have a bit of leadership experience. They're still going to pay you pizza, but anyway. So, leadership is a big one, and they struggle. Dr. Carter said it's terrible in the civilian setting. It's actually pretty dismal. They just don't get it. They think managers are leaders. There's a difference. And leaders can be managers, and managers can be leaders, but there is a difference. And we understand that as vets. Right? Okay. So the next one is decision making. We know how to make decisions. We know how to break it down, put it in criteria, vote on it, whatever we do. And in the Army, we have the military decision-making process. Okay? But all branches of service have to make decisions all the time. We have to make decisions in gray areas that our civilian counterparts can't even start to understand. Right? I mean, like life and death, like gray areas. Okay? So we understand that process, and we understand it emphatically under stress. Okay? The next one that we have is conflict management. And you guys that are in college right now, listen, please. It's not conflict resolution. That doesn't exist. That is with your kids when they want a piece of candy. Okay? Us, at the real world, at the adult level here, understand that it is conflict management. You will always have conflict. And we know that as soldiers. There's guys and gals that don't get along. And that conflict's not going to go away. But not only that, within inside of our organizations, when we're out there in another culture, we have conflicts that are beyond comprehension between tribes, dialects, who wants what, who wants the well dug in their backyard, yada, yada, yada. We have to deal with the DEA. We have to deal with the FBI. We got to work with, USAID. We work with agencies that our civilian counterparts will never even talk to ever in their life, for the most part. Okay? And you've probably worked with them. So you just got to look underneath. What was your mission set? Okay? Who were we working with? All right. Where were we? Who was that culture? What was I really doing? I might have been driving a tank, but there's a ton of other things that I was actually doing. I was planning, I was decision making, I was leading, I was training people, and I was dealing with conflict. Okay? I got a minute. Negotiations. Here's a big one. A lot of companies don't do this well. So, write this down. Here's a very good book written by an FBI guy. Great book. It's a great story. It's done really, really, really well. And if you get it on Audible, you're going to be like, holy cow, man, this is great. Okay? It's called Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. If you want to learn a little more about negotiations, please get that book and just listen to it in your car back and forth, wherever. If you're eating pizza, you can listen to it too. Yeah, I'm helping you get that done. I'm not so old. All right, so that is it. But listen, we all do negotiations, right? I need X. So where do I go? I go to my supply guy, right? My supply guy's like, man, I ain't giving you that stuff. Dude, no, really, I need it. And by the way, I need all of them. Okay, I'll give you a couple. No, I need like 10. I'll give you 8. Okay, dude, good. I'm good, right? We don't even think about our negotiation skills. You guys did that all the time. You do it all the time. You do it with your spouses. You do it with your family members.
Okay? But that is a skill that you have. That sticky parallel does exist. And it is value added to those organizations. Because we've done negotiations in extreme situations with very dangerous people. Okay? So think about that. Think about it in that manner, because that's where you're going to add value to these organizations. Immense value to it. All right? Okay, evaluation and integration. KPIs, all this other stuff. I can throw some other stuff at you, but here's the deal. Organizations do not evaluate their people very well. They just don't. And sometimes they don't even do it. They do it as a check the block for like, okay, we need to do the evaluation of this individual this year. And they do it once a year, right? So now as NCOs in the Army, we know the deal. We had to do that every month. And if we had somebody that was lagging behind or had issues, we had to fix them. We had to have a plan for that to increase their performance. That is what you're doing. Yes, you are managing, but you are also training, and you were evaluating those individuals, and you were putting them in the right spots for the right task to accomplish the job. Okay? Organizations are the same. They need that because they need to make money, and they're not going to spend money on somebody that can't do the job and create value for them. Okay? And the last one, culture. So there it is. That's what we do, right? That's my experience. That was my culture. And those guys on that photo from the second to last on the video, that was my team. And that was my family, and that was my culture, and that's what I lived in. And that culture says this: every day I'm evaluated. Right? Every day you're evaluated, like professional sports teams. You get on the field today, I don't care what you did yesterday. What are you doing today for me? I got it. You did that last game. It doesn't matter. What are you doing for me at this down right now, this play, this pitch? That's how we operate in the military for the most part, right? That is our culture. Now, you gotta be careful, because we operate at a very high level now. There are organizations that do that, and there are organizations that blow you away because they are hardworking. That's one of the misconceptions we have to get over, and I'm gonna leave you with this. Do not underestimate anyone, okay? Never do that. That's another Sun Tzu rule. I don't even like Sun Tzu. In fact, we wrote in the book that he wasn't a business guy anyway, so if you read our book, you can what? So, but let me leave you with this. Do not underestimate your civilian counterparts. I got it. We're all in the military, we're all did great things, and blah, 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 right? You need to humble yourself and understand they have worked hard to get where they're at, and they've busted their butts, especially those guys at higher levels. Okay? And TK put it, I love the thing about cheat. Hang right, man. You want to be like them? Humble yourself, start at the bottom, find the guy that's doing the best job, and follow him. Because he knows the business. You want to know the business. We did the same thing in the military, right? I see that senior NCO, I seen that doggone squad leader, and he was kicking ass. And you wanted to be like him, right? You actually tailored the way you did things to emulate that individual. Why do you think it's different in the civilian sector? I don't know. So, any questions at this time? Because here's the deal, you guys have value. You just gotta look. All right? So, Sandra, that's it. Thanks.
We have time for one question for Chris. Nobody has a question?
Do you have personal social media?
Yeah, dude.
Twitter?
Yes, Twitter. It's under Solid Red Concepts, or you can just look up Chris Schaefer.
Okay.
And I'm on LinkedIn. So get with me. I got some crazy blogs.
Thank you.
I can't find you on LinkedIn, so give me, what am I looking for?
You're looking for Chris, C-H-R-I-S. And then all the Schaefers didn't like each other when we came over, so we all spell our names differently.
Yes.
It's S-C-H-A-F
Okay? And you'll find me on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
All right? Thank you so very much. Go out there, kick ass. Okay?
Thank you.